Hello everyone, good evening. I'm sharing my screen. Let's pick it up from where we have left off in our previous session, guys. We've created an OutboundFlow service to pull the data from Fusion Cloud application and send it to a destination. So we've created this project yesterday, and we created an in this project we created this OutboundFlow service yesterday as a scheduled orchestration. And what is it that we were doing in the scheduled orchestration, guys? We were running a report in ERP Cloud to pull the employee and assignments updated in the past 1 day. We were getting that CSV output in base 64 format. We did convert it to see how it's going to look like. And we didn't read the output. We have just dumped that output as is into SFTP location, and we were incrementing the rate. So that what would happen when the service runs tomorrow morning at 1 o'clock, it would extract all the employees and assignments updated today. Okay, it will go 1 day back and pull all the employee and assignments, and it's going to prepare a file and push it to SFTP. Classic use cases. You get plenty of scenarios like this in real time. Like build an incremental extract, get the output, dump it to SFTP. Okay, and after you run the report, you get the output here, right? So let me also log into a Fusion Cloud application as well. Let me log into Fusion Cloud application as well. I should log in as HCMIMPL. We go to tools, reports and analytics. So this is a report that we created, and it is pulling the employee and assignment details, right? So we were running this report from an integration here, and the output generated by it, we were writing it to SFTP location using FTP connection. But if you go into data model, I'm not sure how many of you know BIP reports here, but within a BIP report data model, we have an option called bursting. Within a BIP report data model, we have a bursting option available here. Now, with the help of a bursting query, I can plug in a bursting query here. And with the help of bursting, I can send the output generated by this BIP report to 2 or 3 destinations. I can email the output. I can send it to an SFTP location, or I can also upload the output to UCM or a content server. So with the help of bursting query, I can send output of BIP report as an email attachment. I can drop it in SFTP, and I can also upload it to the content server as well. Remember the content server we have seen in FPDA and HDL, we can do that. But the bursting query that we have, when you look at the FTP option, we can send the output to SFTP server from BIP report bursting only if that FTP server sits in cloud. Certainly, this SFTP server that we have used yesterday, right? So this is an SFTP server sitting in cloud. So since it is an SFTP server sitting in cloud, we can certainly dump the output to this particular SFTP server. Okay, we can send the output to this SFTP server with the help of a bursting that is possible. Okay, even if you plug in a bursting query here, we can send the output to this SFTP server because this SFTP server sits in cloud. Then you might say, Prasad, then what is the point in building the integration here? We can, from a BIP bursting, we can only send the output to cloud SFTP server space. But if you need to write a file to an on-premise SFTP server, because that would be the requirement in many scenarios. If it is on-prem SFTP server, meaning any SFTP server running on the local machines of a client, then we cannot make use of a bursting feature, because this bursting feature in cloud cannot talk to on-prem servers. But can we, from an integration flow, can we connect to on-prem SFTP servers, guys? Did we do any such use case earlier? Can we connect SaaS with on-prem application space? We did the SaaS to on-premise service with the help of connectivity agent, right? What did we do in this case, guys? We have integrated cloud application with on-prem database server. So in a similar fashion, I can install an agent on the on-prem SFTP server on the machine where on-prem SFTP server is running, and I can tag the agent to the FTP connection and send the output to it. Yes, bursting would help you to send the output to a few destinations. But if it is an on-prem SFTP server, that is not possible through bursting, and that's when you need the integration. And apart from this outbound flow service, so if you kick off a report from an integration flow, and if you are able to get the output back here, there are many things that you can do here than a bursting. What else we can do? Let me clone this integration. And I'll just call it as other options. And instead of dumping the output to SFTP server as is, what I can do is I can do a stage file read action here. I can do a stage file read action. I can say read BIP output. And the moment you do a stage file read action here, I'm going to read the entire file. So again, depending on the output size, if it's going to be less than 50 MB in size, you can read entire file. Or if it's more than that, you can read only you can read the file in segments. And I'm going to pass in file reference as input. Now, where do you get the file reference from? You need to use this function called decode base64 to file reference. And this function expects you to pass in report bytes as input, which is in base64 format. And you're going to drop this in. And you're going to drop this in. So this is a report bytes. So I'm converting this report bytes, which is in base64 format, into file reference. And I'm trying to read that file here. Now, once you read that file, and when you read the file, you need to upload a sample CSV file. I've downloaded this file yesterday. And this file also has a header row. It has a header row. And it also has employee assignment related information. And you have employee assignments, singular and a plural label. You go ahead and click on continue, finish. Now, what's the benefit of doing it this way? So once you read the BIP report output here, the entire BIP report output would be available in a mapper, which means I can send the output to any destination I want. I can send the output to any destination I want, like ATP or any other destination. So let me go ahead and configure the ATP connection. Enter the valid password. Admin username and the admin password. So we can, after you run a BIP report, whatever base64 output you got, you converted it to file reference and you did the stage file read operation here. So once you do a stage file read operation, what would happen, guys? What would happen? The entire BIP report output would be available in the map of here, in the output of this, and you can send it to any destination you want. I want to insert a records to ATP table. So let's say ADP says, Prasad, dump the data into this table at my end, database table. So I can insert employee assignment data to ADP, and you say perform an operation on a table, insert operation. And there's a table that I created called EMP assignment with employee and assignment details. We can just insert data into it. Move it to the selected list and import it. You can select what all fields you want to select as a primary key. You have employee assignments. And when you run the report here, you get a response. And in the response, you have, when you read the BIP report output, you get a response. And in the response, you see all the employee assignment details. So you just have to do the data mapping here. So you go ahead and map the fields and send the data or insert the data into ATP table. So you can go ahead and do the remaining mappings. So if you are able to run a BIP report from an integration flow, you get the report output back into the integration. And if you do a stage file read action, if you use a stage file read operation to read that BIP output, the entire content of the BIP report output will be available in the mapper, which means I can send that data to any destination I want. I can insert it to ATP table, I can invoke a REST API, or I can send it to any destination I want. Okay, absolutely no restriction as such. Okay, I can send the data to any destination I want here. So that's with the other options. So these are, this is a benefit of running a BIP report, reading the BIP report output and inserting it to ATP tables. Now, where exactly this would come handy, guys? If you take a couple of steps back, remember in the FPDA automation service, when we looked at how to use a database layer to do the validations, remember we were kicking off a procedure, right? We were kicking off a procedure to do the required transformations. And within the procedure, remember, if a client wants you to validate some data in Fusion Cloud, what is the approach that we discussed in that session? We would create replica tables in Fusion Cloud, and we would extract the BIP report output in an incremental manner and merge it with the replica tables in ATP. So how do you do this? You have clarity now, right? So how to kick off a BIP report from a scheduled orchestration? You kick off a BIP report, get the CSV output, and merge the data to this particular ATP table. So whatever we discussed in that FPDA database session, remember, if you need any data from Fusion Cloud to do the validations, you create replica tables, scheduled orchestration, kick off BIP report, merge the data to staging tables. Okay, this is one scenario where running a report and inserting a data to ATP would help. But you can send the data to any other destination you want here, guys. It need not be ATP. You can also invoke a REST API and send the data to other destination. You can invoke a SOAP service and send it to other destination. So you can do you can basically send it to any destination that the client wants. Okay, and apart from this, there are also a few scenarios where BIP, or at least one more scenario where BIP report would come handy, guys. So let me log into OIC instance from here. And you go into journal import service. So if you go to this journal import service, let me see what these two options are. Okay, I'm going to clone this journal service, journal import service. And I want to show you where how BIP report can come handy in this integration. Remember, guys, in this integration, what is it that we were doing, guys? When we are submitting import journal CSS job, okay, I don't think this is okay. Let me do it this way, guys. I'm going to delete this. We didn't talk about how to run a BIP report, get the output, and how to run a BIP report to get the data access at ID. We didn't cover this, right? Earlier for your batch. I think it got, remember the project got deleted and we imported the other one, right? The previous project. So that's when it got copied over, I believe. So when we did the journal import service, what is it that we have done, guys? We were mapping the parameters. And when it comes to the data access set, what exactly did we do, guys? First of all, yes, when we had to submit import journals job, we had to pass in 7 parameters. So parameter mappings for the last 6 are straightforward. But when it comes to the first parameter, what exactly did we do? Since we are not getting the data access set from a lookup, since we are not getting a data access set from a data source, sorry, not the lookup, since we are not getting data access set ID from our core banking system, what did we do? We stored the mappings between ledger ID and data access set ID in a lookup. We stored the mappings between data access set ID in a lookup. We also don't have that lookup in here. I'm going to upload that CSV file. So we created this lookup, and in the lookup, what is it that we have done, guys? We've stored the mapping between ledger ID and data access set ID, and we were pulling the value from this lookup for parameter one, right? So this is what we did. This is what we did. We used the lookup value function, and we were fetching the value from data access set ID lookup. We were searching in ledger ID column, getting the data access set ID value, and click on done. And what's the exact value ledger ID that we are passing in? Whatever is the data access, whatever is the ledger ID we're getting from data source, we were passing in that value here. So this is the logic that we implemented to get the data access set based on ledger ID when we have created the journal import service. Everybody with me so far, guys? Okay, so we stored the mappings here and we were pulling the values using this expression. But is there any better way now? Better way, guys? Now that you know that you can run a SQL statement in cloud, get the output, and you can also read that BIP report output. Is there any other better approach that you can think of here, guys? What else I can do? Yes, since ledger ID and data access set ID configuration is something that doesn't change quite frequently, using a lookup still makes sense. Using a lookup still makes sense. But if you want, what I can also do is I can kick off a BIP report from here. I can go to a Fusion Cloud application. I can upload a BIP report here. And let me show you how the BIP report is going to look like, guys. Let me unarchive a file. You go into this UG53 catalog file. Go ahead and upload that catalog file. Yeah, but that's okay. You just leave it as UGC 53. That's okay. So I can go ahead and, so first of all, I created a data model here. And this data model, all it does is it takes in a ledger ID as input. It takes in ledger ID as input. And there is a simple SQL query here. We need to get the data access set ID from access sets table based on ledger ID. Okay, so you need to query the access sets table. And based on ledger ID, I want to get the data, which takes in ledger ID, gives me back a data access set ID. And after we do this, we created a report as well for this. Creating a data model and report, we have already seen that stuff earlier. I will just edit the report and I will select that data model here. Whatever is the data model that we created. Now you go ahead and run the report. When you run the report, what is it going to do, guys? So if this is a ledger ID, this is a data access set ID in Fusion Cloud. So I'm basically querying getting the data access set ID from Fusion Cloud application. I'm getting the data access set ID based on ledger ID from Fusion Cloud application dynamically. And this is a report that I want to run. And this is a report that I want to run. So how do I run this report? So to run this report from Fusion Cloud, what I can do is I'll just go in here and I will use that outbound flow connection. I'll use this outbound flow connection. I would say get data access set based on ledger ID. Based on ledger ID. Get data access set ID based on ledger ID, and you're going to do a run report operation. Continue. And you click on finish. Just give me one moment, guys. So we need to go ahead and run the report to get the data access set ID based on ledger ID. And we need to get into the mapper now. As usual, we need to mention, first of all, which report to run. And what's the report that I want to run, guys? So I need to get this particular report path. Properties. Copy the path from custom. .xto. Flatten XML, you can say true or false. That's okay. We are getting a CSV output. And attribute format is going to be CSV. And we also need to map a size of data and download as -1. So remember, these are the parameters that we need to pass when we have to run the BIP report. And we also need to map the parameter name as well. So what's up? So this report has only one parameter, guys. What's the name of the parameter? That is P ledger ID. Create target node. So you go to the data model. And you get P ledger ID. So you can pass in that P ledger ID as a value here. And after that, we also need to get the values here. What's the value for that ledger ID? Now, where do you get the ledger ID? Guys, remember we're getting ledger ID from a core banking system, right? So I'm going to pass that as input here. So I'm going to pass in ledger ID as input here. I'm going to run a report, pass in ledger ID as input, and this report is going to get me back a data access set ID. This report is going to get me back a data access set ID. So what is it that we need to do? I need to go ahead and run this report now. So after we run the report, we get back a response. And in the response, we have base 64 output. So we need to read that report output now using a stage file action. So stage file action, I would say read BIP output, read entire file. And the same story, we need to decode the base 64 output to a file reference here. So whatever is the BIP report output we've got, so you map the report bytes, upload a sample CSV file here. There is a sample CSV file. And you can mention GL data access set IDs, ID, singular and a plural label. You say continue. Now, what else do we need to do? We need to get into the mapper now. And in the mapper, instead of fetching it from a lookup, what I can do, guys? Instead of fetching it from a lookup, I can directly go ahead and map it from a report response. Not the report response, we're reading a BIP report output, right? Here you would have the GL data access set ID here. You go ahead and map it. Okay, so what is it that we are trying to do? We're trying to run a report based on ledger ID. We're getting a data access set ID, and that data access set ID is what I'm passing as parameter 1 here. Okay. So this way, yes, if you have a requirement, any integration, if you have a requirement to go to ERP Cloud, and run a SQL statement, get the output and use it in the integration, these are the 3 steps that you have to perform. Use external report WSS service connection, map the report and parameters, read the BIP report output here using a stage file action, and then use that output here. Okay, please pay attention to this BIP report usages, guys. You will be using it quite frequently. So yes, one obvious thing that you can do is you can run a BIP report, dump it to SFTP, or you can do a stage file read action, read the BIP report output, so that you can send the data to any destination you want, ATP database, REST API, SOAP service, anything you can do. And not just that, even in the integration flows, if you have if you have a requirement to fetch in the information from Fusion Cloud, okay, maybe you need to go in there, run a select statement to get the information. You can also do such things using a BIP reports as well. Okay. Any questions so far, guys, on the BIP reports?
Professor,
yeah.
We are getting a header and line row, correct? So system knows that it has to read a second line?
Second line, yes. It will by default run. It first row will be ignored. And if you are getting a file which doesn't have a header row, then you need to uncheck that box. So by default, it would be considered as a header first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shall we get started with the next use case, guys? Are you guys okay with it, or shall we pick it up tomorrow? Just want to understand. I'm seeing pin drop silence in the last few sessions, guys.
No, Prasad, we were actually doing this practice on that, so I missed actually 2 classes. So that's what. I have few questions. So we'll after doing that, we will ask you.
Sure, no problem. Yeah. But don't lose the flow. So just because you missed one integration, don't stop practicing it. Skip that integration and practice other integrations at least, so that you
Yes.
stay on track. Okay. Now we'll get started with the next one. And what is the next one, guys? The OutboundFlow service. Remember, if we take a step back, what did we discuss? If you have to do a bulk extraction, so we did 2 ERP related integrations, guys. If you have to deal with low data volume updates in ERP, business event driven approach. We already covered this in the publisher subscriber integrations, and we did the BIP integration. So if you have to extract the information from finance or SCM modules or HCM modules, you can certainly use BIP report. Remember, I used a HCM example here because we have done quite a few HCM finance examples already. That's why even for BIP report here, I did a HCM example. But if it is a HCM cloud, and if all you have to extract is employee and assignments, you don't even have to build a BIP report, guys. Remember, in BIP report, I've shown you how to pull the employee assignment details. Instead of that, what else you could do? It can be any use case, guys. It can be pulling a journals, it can be pulling invoices, it can be pulling purchase orders. So it's just that you're building a BIP report with the input criteria, extract the required columns, it would be taken care by tech consultant, and you just have to call it. If you have to do a bulk extraction from cloud, guys, if you have time and patience, you can write your own BIP report. Otherwise, there is a much easier option called HCM extracts. And let me teach you how to use HCM extracts to do a bulk extraction of HCM data from cloud application. How do we do it? So it's again, it's going to be, so the integration that we're going to build would look something like this. Okay, so you would build, okay, let me start from the beginning. I would explain the high level steps. So we are going to create a HCM extract first in Fusion Cloud, because some of you are quite new to HCM and some of you might be hearing HCM extract for the first time. So I just want to explain you guys how to create a simple extract. Not a simple, we're going to create a master detail extract. So we will build a HCM extract to pull the same information that we did just now, employee and assignment related information, with an extract instead of a BIP report, so that you guys understand how easy it is to use extract rather than a BIP report. You would appreciate it. So we'll create a HCM extract to extract the employee and assignment details, and we're going to run that extract. And HCM extract is going to generate XML file, and that would be uploaded to UCM or a file or a content server. We will build a scheduled orchestration in OIC. From that scheduled orchestration, we're going to go to UCM, search for the XML files uploaded by a specific extract. We're going to download that. And after we download the HCM extract output from UCM or content server or a file server attached to ERP Cloud, we will see two things. We'll see first how to dump that HCM extract output to SFTP as is. But instead of dumping that HCM extract file to SFTP as is, what else we can do, guys? We can do a stage file read action, and we can send the data to any destination you want here. So let's first see how easy it is to create an extract in Cloud, guys. Remember, we're not going to create this in real time. In real time, who is going to do this? HCM technical consultant would do this. But since we don't have one, let's go ahead and create a HCM extract. I've logged in as HCM user, that's fine. So this is what we need to create HCM extract. And to create HCM extract, you need to go into My Client Group. And here we have Data Exchange. And when you do a data exchange here, so we have two options to load the data. We've seen this earlier, and we've also seen how to automate a HDL process. Now we'll see how to create an extract in Cloud. So to create a HCM extract, you need to go to extract definition, define a new one. I'm going to create it new. So you need to mention, you need to select the type here. So depending on which type of information you want to fetch from HCM Cloud, you need to select that object here. Okay, is it recruiting related information, payroll related information, or a core HR related information, or benefits related information? Depending on the type of information that you want to pull in the extract, you need to select appropriate type. For example, if I pick up HR archive here, so I say UG63 HCM extract. Okay, I'm going to call it as UG63 HCM extract. And I'll select the consumer as report here. So one benefit of using HCM extract is, yes, we don't have to write queries. You will see it in the next screen. And another benefit is HCM extract support incremental mode by default. So when you build an extract, there are two ways you can build it. You can build it as a normal extract, meaning whenever you run it, normal extract means you don't check this. So you build a normal extract, and whenever you run it based on the parameters, it's going to get the output. Or you can also build the extract as incremental extract, meaning changes only extract. So if you build the extract as an incremental extract or changes only extract, then what would happen, guys? Yes, if it has to be incremental extract, you need to take this box. And in the next few screens also, you need to do a lot of changes in there. But we don't need to go down to that level as a integration specialist. Just be aware that you can also build an incremental extract in HCM Cloud. And when you build this as an incremental extract, like taking this box and making those changes in the next screens, what would happen? When you run the extract for the first time, it's going to pull all the employee and assignments. And from that point onwards, whenever you run the extract, it's going to internally work out and extract only the employees and assignments which are updated from the previous run. How exactly it does it? Oracle has automated that entire process in the background. So if I build this as incremental extract changes only, I run it now, it extracts everything. And say I schedule this extract to run at the same time tomorrow. And from today until tomorrow this time, let's say 3 employees are updated. When I run this extract, how many employees will I see in that file? Only 3. So if you build the extract as an incremental extract, it would automatically work out what are the employees and assignments updated after the previous HCM extract run. But we're not going to make it very complicated and build incremental extract. We would create a normal one. Click OK. And within the HCM extract, remember there are 3 steps in there. You define it first, design it, and you set up a delivery options. And when you define a HCM extract, remember, depending on the type that you pick up, there would be a parameter that gets added automatically. You can add additional parameters if you want. So based on a date, it's going to pull the employee and assignment details now. And I can go ahead and design it. So in the design, you need to mention which exact information you want to fetch. So first you need to add a data group, and the first data group that you add in an extract is called as a root data group. So in an extract, there has to be at least one data group called as root, but you can have multiple data groups as well. So depending on what information you want to fetch, you need to mention that appropriate entity name here. Say, for example, if I want to fetch the person related information, person or employee related information, I'm going to call it as persons. Now, this is where it makes our life much more easier. So if I have to fetch the person means employee, guys, no confusion. Person means employee. So if I have to fetch the person related information here, if it's a BIP report, I have to do a lot of homework from my end to identify what are the tables. Okay, I need to do a lot of homework from my end to identify what are the tables appropriate, or what tables store the employee information and what tables store the names information, right? So I need to work out all those details. Like what tables store the information. I need to write the queries. I need to write the joins and all this stuff. But do I have to do all of this in HCM extracts, guys? Not really required. In HCM extracts, you have this option called user entities. I just have to click on the drop down. It's going to show me all the user entities given by Oracle. What exactly user entity means, guys? Just think of it as a query that Oracle has written in the background. So you search for it. And if I need a person related user entity, I just have to go to user entity name and search for person here. What is it going to do? It's going to fetch all the user entities related to the person information. I just have to pick up that relevant user entity. Okay, so I can just pick up a person related user entity here. Now, the next question that you ask is, Prasad, can we check what is the query that Oracle has written in this particular user entity. We can very well check it. I can go into advanced and I can put in that user entity name and I can search for it. So what Oracle did is for most common HCM business objects like person, assignment, department, location, what it did is it has already written those SQL queries. It has already written those SQL queries, linking the relevant tables. So you see employee table, national identifiers table, person type usages. So it has for the common business objects like persons, assignments, departments, etc. Oracle has already identified the tables. And after it has identified the tables, what else is done? You also see the columns fetched here. You also see the columns fetched here. So do I have to spend time and effort building the SQL query or identify the tables? I don't have to do it. I just have to search for person's name and I need to go ahead and use it in my extract. So this is what makes HCM extract quite easy to use. And I just have to save this. And these threading options are related to incremental extract. And I need to go into filter, and in filter, I can add additional filters if I want. Say, for example, if I don't apply any filter condition, what would happen, guys? If I don't apply any filter. If I don't apply any filter, it would try to pull all the employee and assignments. So let me just apply a filter and say, pull only employees. I just want to pull only a handful of employees here. So I'll say extract person number as between. I'm going to say 90. Because I just want to pull only a couple of employees here. 95 or few employees. And I can calculate the rows. So it's fetching total 56 rows in total. So remember why we have got 56, because these are not treated like actual numbers. These are treated like varchar values. So that's why you see 96 or 56 rows in there. So 9001, 9003 or 902. So all those numbers come between these two. So I'm just restricting this to get only a subset of employees now. And I also need to go ahead and add a record under this. So I just mentioned that I want to fetch the employee related information and I applied a filter. Now I need to add a record under this. And here I need to mention what are the details that I want to add. So I want to get the person details. And I want to go into attributes. And after you save it, you see an option to add the attributes. So whatever are the columns related to the person, right? So whatever you have. So here, what is it that you're going to do? You're going to fetch all the information that ADP wants to receive from HCM Cloud. So you get the person first name, last name, and maybe the full name. And you get the person number. And you take the person's start date as well, effective start date. So this way you can go ahead and add as many columns. So whatever columns that ADP wants to receive from Fusion HCM Cloud, you select those columns here. Did I write a query to get this information? No, I was just using the user entity given by Oracle. So similarly for this particular person, if I want to get the assignment related information, I can add a child data group. And I can just call it as assignments. I need to search for assignment related user entity. And the moment you add a child data group, remember the join conditions also get added. Remember, I've added assignments now, right? For a particular person, how do we get the assignments? Based on these join conditions. But to be frank, these two join conditions are not really required, guys. So if you have to get the assignments based on for a particular employee, you're just making use of person ID itself would be sufficient. Making use of person ID itself would be sufficient. And I can also add any filter conditions if I want. If I want to get only full-time assignments or a paid assignments, I can add in that filter here. And I can also add a record as well. And you go to the attributes and whatever assignment related fields you want to pull, like assignment name, number, start date, etc. You can pull that information. Assignment effective start and end date. Get the assignment department, assignment job. So you can get all that information. Okay, so whatever details that you need, you can go ahead and add all those columns and get that information. And once you mention what data you want to fetch and what columns in that business object, you can go ahead and set up a delivery option. Remember, guys, extract is something that will not be run by user, guys, business user. Instead, it is something that we create and we set up we're going to schedule this extract to run on a daily basis or every hour, depending on the scheduling requirement. You would set up options accordingly. But yes, extract would always run on the basis of a schedule. So I can create a new option and I would say upload the output to UCM. Since we have already seen SFTP in quite a few scenarios, let's upload the output of HCM extract to UCM from here, and we'll see how to pull the output from UCM. So I'll say upload the output to Web Center Content or UCM. What are the other options available? You can email it, you can send it to SFTP, and there are also a few more options available, guys. Not particularly sure about the other three. But yes, I want to upload the output to UCM or Web Center Content. Now, when you upload the output to UCM, guys, it is going to get uploaded with this particular name to UCM. So I'm going to say UG63 HCM extract.xml. And I can, the output would be in XML format. I can compress it, I can encrypt it. Okay, but I don't want to encrypt it now. So I'll just say none. And we need to mention the name of an integration here. So this is important, guys. So this particular integration name field, it's a mandatory field, and this acts as a link between HCM extract and the integration flow. So I'm going to use this particular name itself, the UG63 HCM extract here as an integration name, because later on, when we run from an integration flow, what is it that we're going to do, guys? From a scheduled orchestration, we would use HCM cloud connection. And with the help of this cloud connection, we go to UCM and search for the files, output files. Now, when you search for the output files here you need to mention which HCM extract output files you want to search for. And this name is what you're going to mention here. The integration name you mentioned in the HCM extract is what you're going to mention within this node. So that way, we restrict this node to search only for the output files which are generated by that HCM extract, and we get the output and we can dump the output to SFTP as is. And go ahead and click on OK, validate. Just have to say done. And what you can do is you can just submit that as well. Instead of name, you can say last saved date. So I can go ahead and run the extract, guys. And when I run the extract, what it's going to do? It's going to extract those 56 employees in here. So I'm going to say run one. Ideally, we will schedule it, but I'm going to just do an ad hoc run here. I'm going to run it ASAP, and I'm going to run it with today's date. So whatever employee assignments are there, which are effective as on today, will be fetched. But just to avoid it from taking long time, I have put in a filter condition to fetch only a subset of employees. But in real time, it would be created as incremental extract without that filter. The moment I submit it, what would happen? You would be able to see the request running here. You can see the HCM extract running here. And it's going to take at least 5 to 10 minutes to complete. Okay, so let this go on. And while this extract keeps, while this extract runs, we can go to the integration and we can build this integration flow. This is plain and simple. So you just need HCM cloud connection. You need FTP connection. We already have both the connections. I believe we already have a HCM connection, right? But not really sure if it's pointing to a working instance or not. Okay, we don't have that. I'm saving the connection here. And we also have FTP connection as well. So we need two connections and we have both of them now. So we'll stop here for today, guys. I think we reached a logical stage. So we'll build the integration tomorrow here and we will test. So this output, the HCM extract that we are running here, this would upload the output to UCM. And in tomorrow's session, we'll build a scheduled orchestration to get that output from UCM and we'll see how to send it to other destinations. And let me also take a backup of this HCM extract, guys. And how do you take a backup of this extract? You can just export the extract. And when you export the extract, the definition of the extract would be exported in an XML file. So just in case this instance is down tomorrow, I can just import that XML file so that the extract gets imported into the application. Okay, any questions, guys, from anyone? Thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow.